I saw.
Whoa. We rolling in. Coming in episode number 6, Mr. Harris.
Episode number 6.
Crazy.
What's up?
Same old, buddy. We're here. Man, we got all kinds of nice new equipment here.
I see that. You look really professional. You make me look
I'm telling you, we're set up like a, I don't know, it's like a whole CBS booth out here right now.
I see that. You're going to be working for CNN before you know it.
That's what we're working on. And trying to keep up with those flat hoods.
I hear you. You're going to have to keep working.
Yeah, we're trying. But we do got some nice stuff. I hope it comes in way more clear this week finally. And
you look good. No echo in this time. No double talk.
So far. Let's keep it. Let's hope it all stays straight. There's a lot of dough been spent right here.
That's good. That's what it takes. You know how it is. Just like a race car. I found out real quick. Computer equipment, studio equipment. You buy once, cry once. Don't buy the crap you see off Amazon. Try to buy something decent.
Yep, that is exactly right.
So I guess you've been working like me instead of racing.
Yeah, we've been steadily getting it and trying to get stuff done. And here comes the weather in. It kind of screws my work up. Yours probably not so much, but when the weather rolls in with us, it slows me down as well.
No, yeah, I mean, I just get dripped on. That's about it. I just stay wet. So.
Yep. We got to wade in that damn mud, and it really slows production down. But hey, we got to go with it. At least it grows the grass, so we're good.
That's good. Yeah, definitely. I need some grass. I'm allergic to grass. I don't want it to grow, but my yard looks like crap right now. So
you got to get it cut smooth, man. Golf course.
Well, shout out to my wife for doing that. She's done that for the last 23 years because I'm magically allergic to grass when it's time to cut it.
I don't even get on the lawnmower, so I don't know nothing about that thing.
And plus, it's racing season when that happens, so it's time.
Exactly. Shoot, I was getting a trailer truck ready, all the packing the coolers and fridges, and here we are. We're boosting and bullshitting from home, not from the wall.
I know. That's it's only happened twice in 10 years, 11 years. So I mean, what do you say? I mean, hard call, back and forth. Me and you talked. I talked to Chad. Talked to a bunch of guys. I mean, people were calling me like I was making the decision, just left and right, And I think it's just because I've ran the series so long, and my dad was involved. And my dad, he's got his finger, his nose stuck up in everything that goes on with PDRA, even though he's not involved much anymore. And I think a lot of people, and I think guys were calling me and talking out, what the scenario is, what this. And there was a lot of, John Doc, those guys are coming into my crew right now, and they've never been in a situation where we've got to travel 10 hours with a bad forecast. So a lot of people were calling me and asking me for advice, what they thought that was going to happen, and I said, look, it is what it is, man. There's one thing you can't control, and that's weather.
Yeah, they're in a no-win situation no matter what happens. They cancel, the weather ends up good, they're the bad guy. They don't. Everybody drives there in rain. You sit in the rain, everybody's pissed, and half the cars don't come because they're scared of the weather. So it was probably the right call, I think.
I believe in my heart it was the right call, but I don't think the problem was it was a call that had to be made because of the amount of travel. And we as Southerners get a bad rap because we have Galat, we have Virginia, we have Maryland. We have a lot of tracks within 4 hours, and like Buffalo, and you got well, you're not that far, but say like the Steadings and them guys, they've drove down to Galat with bad forecast and
Yep.
knowing that it was a chance you might not race, but you know I just don't know. The problem is the forecast was so bad for such a long time that it had to be made quick. And he didn't want people getting on the road on Wednesday and having to turn around.
Yeah, that was the big thing. We was worried. We was going to leave Thursday morning pretty early, so we was tuned in there on the internet along with you, calling you. I mean,
Yeah.
PDRA's got Tyler, then they got you, so everybody calls you.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, I spoke to him. I didn't want to bother him because I was afraid that, I'm sure he was getting jackhammered with Texas,
Oh God.
just calls, and what are you going to do? And, the poor guy's got to make a decision. And, it's almost like you need a panel of people to make that kind of decision because I make a lot of decisions in my business. Some are wrong, some are right. And I would love to go fishing and drink beer.
Yes.
He's already had a beer today. He's asking me if I'm drinking beer, and I came from an eighth grade band concert, so there was no beer drinking there.
No beer drinking there now.
Should
Yeah,
have been.
I had a half of one. I haven't had a lot. I worked all the way up to here, and then we was up here setting this stuff up. It's been crazy, and the rain comes in, so I'm sure that was a joint venture between Norwalk and PDRA to come up with that decision of whether
Yeah,
spectate full car count.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see. It's raining right now up there. I've kind of been looking on and off, and it's been spotty raining. There was no way we could have raced today, so
Right.
he couldn't move the schedule up. The temperature was an issue. It was going to be highs in the 50s, 60s, and it was changing literally hourly. And we had 5 phones at work. We had my dad's, mine, a couple of guys that worked for me. Everybody had a different forecast.
Yep.
Every single person, 45%, 85%, 35%. And I mean, what do you do?
Another thing with Norwalk, it's a beautiful facility with all the grass groomed to the perfection. I'm sure they was a little bit worried about all the rigs coming in there after it rained 2 or 3 days as well and tearing up the grounds.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it weeps a little bit. I don't think it's terrible, but I think it does weep a
Yep.
little bit, and that's going to happen. I mean, I did text Tyler, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'd hate to be you today. Uh, sorry you got to make this kind of decision. I think maybe um, you they could have made a decision maybe a little. I know they had to make it on Tuesday because of the driving. I think maybe a little later might have played a little factor, but I would have made the decision when he made the decision, and I would have made the decision he made when he made it. It was like literally when he made the decision, an hour later, the forecast changed.
Right.
So
Today was probably just a total washout. So, the only other thing they could have did was move the schedule to Sunday, which Memorial Weekend, less spectators, probably, so forth
and
and so on.
and that's not a big spectator area for the
No.
PDRA. It's not a big spectator area. I mean, it takes 20,000 people to make that place look full.
Yes.
And you're just not going to get that at a spectator kind of event with the PDRA. We should. We got the best racing. We should, but we just don't. Ohio weather's terrible lately. I, I like Ohio.
I
I
love
don't
it.
like. I don't like Ohio as much as like Florida, but
Yes, I agree with that. But last year we was there was like we was racing. The PDRA was there with the baddest cars on the planet, and I felt like we was testing. To be honest with you,
yeah, and that goes back to I think as racers and as sportsman racers and guys that go, we like to go to those big arenas. It makes us feel important, but I'll also want to see a crowd, and it's very hard to push our racing in a nitro area. And I mean, you're not as pretty as John Force, and I'm not as good a driver as Brittany. So, or maybe that's backwards. But anyway, and we just they're it's just not there. And until we try to, and the problem is that the fast cars we have and the type of people that we race with, we have to have these immaculate, nice facilities to handle the power and the crews and the type of people we have that come in there. It takes a facility like Norwalk to do that. Well, unfortunately, when you go into a situation like that, it's hard to bring the spectators, and I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah,
Free tick, free tickets are not it. We've been down that road. That's not it. Uh, um, you know, TV, yes, but we have as much live stream coverage now as some of the bigger name stuff. Um,
I don't know what the answer is. And I think that's a big question. I know Tyler and Tommy and all those guys been working on it. I know your dad's been talking about it, and
yeah.
just everyone trying to figure out do you bring the circus in? What do you do? I mean, and everything you bring in costs money. So then that puts more financial burden upon the series as well. So there's a lot of different things.
I'm very grateful that we have a place to race like PDRA, and I really appreciate what they've done. Um, I think it's some of the best racing from junior dragsters to what we do. I think if a true drag racing fan, it's top notch. But the problem with a true drag racing fan, it is a minute set of guys. And luckily, I live in the area where it started, so there's a lot of it, and we're spoiled. We can go watch a pro mod race every other weekend, so we get but up there it's just not the case.
Yep, and I think that also is the market. I say watered down. I don't think it's watered down, but like you said, you can go to Virginia, you can go to Galot, you can go to Rockingham, you can go to Piedmont. I mean, almost on a weekly basis, and see some of the fastest car in the country, bar none.
So what's the answer? The answer is, we as racers have to do our part, and I think 10% of us do. You didn't have a good social media page until Jess came along, until you got hooked up. I didn't have a good social media page until I started with Jax. I'm not social media savvy. I pay somebody monthly to do it. That way, it's great. The stuff comes to me, I approve it, or I send her stuff. She puts it up. Have I gotten better at it? Yes. But as racers, this is something we need to look at. I mean, if you own a Pro Nitrous car and a Pro Boost car, you should have somebody running your social media page. If it's your wife, your sister, your daughter, your cousin, if it's, there's these girls that come to the track that do this to make a living at it. They're good at it. They make videos. You should have a social media page running your stuff so that anything it gets out there, it promotes what you do. It has brought sponsorship opportunities to me that I never would have got. It has brought friends like you and Jess and these guys that I never would have got, and it's opened up the drag racing world to people I went to high school with. They have no idea.
100%. Us as well. With Jess doing what she does, she gets paid monthly too. Well, she gets free room and board.
That's
but
good.
But yeah, she does a lot for us, and there's people come up to me that I never would have known anything about. They just thought I raced, and it's brought an overwhelming amount of people and support, even local to me, people that know me now see us on there a lot, and I would have never thought. This is not my cup of tea.
And you guys started that whole deal with the videos, making fun of me, and am I making fun of you? And that was the start. And now we have a podcast. I mean, like me and you needed something else to do on a weekly basis.
Right.
But I enjoy this. This is my chance to vent, soapbox on what I think is wrong with our industry and the stuff we love. Me and you have two opposite end spectrum views of what we think, boost racing should be, and then we agree on a lot of things. So.
Yep.
I think that's a good thing. And
I don't think if you have controversy, you don't have, whether it's friends, but you got to have controversy even within each class. If you don't have that controversy, people don't want to watch. So
did you see?
We did some of them videos? When we did it for the little scooter video, that was one of the biggest ones we did, and it was really just trying to be kind of funny, but it blew up.
It was for content. It made racing. We went into Bristol. Me and you, we had talked, but we hadn't talked up until then. You know what I mean? I'm like, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Why is Steve picking on me? I ain't done anything to Steve. But you wanted to pick on somebody that it would draw exposure to you. And at the time, I was the top guy.
Correct.
And guess what? It worked. You
Yep.
know, you got your ass beat, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it worked.
did. I got my ass beat. But if you're gonna be the man, you got to beat the man, and you was the man at the time, so I had to pull your chain a little bit, and
That's right,
it
and
was
you did a
always
good.
fun.
It was, and it was. You know, I think we put on a good show when it came to that. But that's what we need. We need guys. Yeah, Cam Clarkson, Bob's always. He is always right.
He is. He did well on that scooter. He didn't even fall off of it.
So I mean, back to the weather thing. Two times in the history, 10 years. Once was a hurricane. It was a bad deal. Bad planning. Who you think Tyler can control the weather? You
No,
think Tommy stands out there with a fan blowing rain into the racetrack? I mean, no. I mean,
no, they
we're going to lose testing on Thursday, so that which I kind of like that because I feel like maybe we could go in. We could go into racing with because you screw blowers, the more shots y'all get at the racetrack, the faster you're going to be.
it does help. It does help. You got your shit together and you go out there and blast them all. You just say, oh, I'm gonna run 64, 62, and whatever I plug in that thing out to what I'm gonna go. So
Yeah.
what y'all do.
Yeah, exactly. So we were going to lose that. Friday was touchy. Probably could have got some runs in, but you got to remember we got to run 300 cars. So it ain't just see that's where I forget sometimes. Well, we can get around in. No. We got to get 300 cars. Yeah,
that's a lot. They got a lot of classes to get through there, and then they can't run with the weather. It was going to be cool as well.
So they got to try to dry the track, and then
you got to get it done in the evening before the dew falls because it'll be a low dew point as well, probably late in the evening out
right.
there.
And I think a lot of spectators or a lot of guys that don't race on a regular basis realize if the temperature and the dew point are the same, guess what? The water don't go nowhere.
Yep.
And then you got cost involved. You got flights in. You got jet fuel for the dryers. You got guys standing out there blowing, drying the track. Then it rains. I mean, I've been in the racetrack business, most of my life, and I understand where it's at. Do I want to race? Sure. I absolutely wanted to come to Norwalk and bust ass. I mean, Norwalk's been good to me. I've won a few times there. You busted my butt there last year. So
I wasn't going to bring that up. I was not going to bring that up because
I remember.
I took it hard after that. I got you early, and then you tore my ass up.
It was a let's see, what was a whole shot win, I do believe.
Yeah, it wasn't like I was killer. You was just, I think you blinked or something.
Whoa! I just got some news, man. Dean Sox, Ronnie Sox's son, passed this morning.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's tough.
A good thing.
That's they're local heroes here.
Yes.
Ronnie's been gone for a long time, and Dean, I've done some stuff at the racetrack with him. Yeah, so that's bad. Somebody just texted. That was kind of important. So in our area, Ronnie Sox was the man. So.
Yes, sir. He was the man up here too. He runs Summer Duck a lot. So
the old duck.
The duck. You know about the duck. We should match race there.
I'll pull one spark plug wire off. You pull a spark plug wire off.
That's fine. I'll pull two. Just in case.
That's the only way I can hang with you. Cheating ass screw blowers.
Oh, here we go. But yeah, I think overall, I do think they made the right call with financial decisions and the travel and all that. And I think the car count was going to be down, no spectators. Yep. So overall, it was going to be a no-win situation for them.
And like I told Tyler, you're just going to have to make a damn decision and turn your phone off.
Yep.
And that's what he did.
I would not want to be him on that deal. I would not want to be him. No way. I mean, either call he did, he was going to get burned up.
Yep, exactly. So he makes the call. Let's go scenario 2. He makes the call. We all drive a 12-hour drive, 10-hour drive up there, knowing it's going to rain. We know it's going to rain, but stupid racers, here we go. Boop, doop, doop, doop. We go on up there. We're going to have this race that we know is going to happen. It rains. We get out Friday. We know we're not got to qualify. We get everything out. It rains. They dry it. It rains. They dry it. It rains. Okay, now we can't get in. So now, I'm sure Norwalk's got a curfew.
Yes.
So now we're going into Saturday. We're probably going to go into Sunday. I was going to get my ass chewed out if I was not home on Memorial Day. Just telling you that.
That's the other thing. Big holiday weekend. Even with the cancellation, a lot of guys had already made a lot of plans as soon as it was canceled. Like, okay, it's Memorial Weekend. We're not going racing. We're going to run over here. And then, some of the guys probably been testing or going testing or whatever. And
yep. Yeah. And, Okay, so he called it off. We don't have the race. I don't think there's any room to reschedule it. So now we're down to 7 races. Now we're down to 7 races, right?
Yes.
So is that good or bad?
Well, that depends on if you're leading the points at that point, I guess, as the season goes through and you're. But to me, it shortens your string that you could qualify in points, more rounds. But at the same token, all the schedules are made. So how do they make it up?
Yeah, and that was something I looked at. And this is just me being a business owner, too. I kind of looked at the scenarios where they could put it in, where, July, obviously it is. Well, guess what? It's hot as Hades in Virginia and here. And you'd have to make it up either here. Norwalk's schedule was full, so that was out of the question.
Yeah.
You're either going to have to go to a racetrack that you're not familiar with and we hadn't been to, which is kind of stupid to begin with. I mean, we would have done it, but I don't think it's a good call. I actually mentioned maybe going to Rockingham, but you know,
Yes.
so what do you do here as far as making up? So now I think I'm second. I didn't look at the points, but that's what I heard. But now I'm a race down where I don't carry momentum in, or does it save me to keep somebody like you having a good weekend, catching up to me? I just think it's the way the dice is roll, and it's going to be what it's going to be. You're going to win it or you're not.
Yep. And we can't dawn on it is what it is because of it. It's done deal. So you got to just play what like you said, the dice rolled to us. And, does it affect the qualifying points for Pro Stars? A little bit. But that's one less race for that deal.
Yeah, and that was I did bring that up. I said maybe instead of running Pro Stars, maybe we finish that race. But then you got like a week long of racing. I don't think that would work either.
Yes.
Obviously they could have it in Virginia if they could have slid it in somewhere because they own a racetrack. So that's a benefit of having that. The only thing that kind of weighs in the back of my mind is we ain't over yet. We still got 7 races. Uh, you know, what if one of those get rained out?
Right. That's the big thing. There's what, five or six left. We get, but
We had
if one more gets rained out, now it shortens down to whoever started out hot, and that's going to make up for the championship.
Right, and I don't think that I think if that became a factor, then they would try to put in a race somewhere, or they'd have to. I would assume. But I think between and let's get this straight, guys. Tyler's job is not as glamorous as we think it is. Sure, Tyler has his moments and he's an asshole sometimes, but he has to be. Anybody that owns their company, they understand what it means to be. You have. I cannot please every single human being walk. I can't please every customer that walks in my door, much less every staff. And
he's got to take it on the chin. He's the man up there, so he's the man's got to make that call and then stand by it and make what he feels is the best possible deal. I mean, when you got 400 racers there and then another 1,000 people with those 400 racers, you're not going to please them all. Just like the people walking your door at your business, you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. So,
yeah, I'm actually working for Newark Airport on one ear, and then I'm talking to Steve in this ear because they've had so much trouble up there. I had to take a side job so I could buy some more damn race car parts. So actually, I lost I think my AirPods are dead. So I grabbed this is my gaming headset.
I was getting ready to say, it looked like you're getting ready to play some Call of Duty or something.
I'm in my simulator. So
he's getting ready to do a little race tracking. That's After that 120, he got to practice there. That 120 red from the other race got him.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I flinched one time in my career, and I'm gonna hear about it for the rest of my life between you and my dad.
Bob told me to give you some shit about that, so
and he should because let's see what
I'll probably take it on the chin now sometime this year. Now it'll be the same thing because it's the way it is.
Let's see, I have double points somewhere. The problem with double points, Jay, and this is what I've talked to in my father, I'll give him credit on this one. If you have if that's a bad race for you, you're screwed. One bad race on a double points deal can absolutely murder you.
Yep. Well, just like the winter series, double points and a half for the last race, and I move all the way up to number 2 for the winter series
because
in
you
one
had
race.
one race, which is great. It worked out in yours, but
Yeah,
it's what if Ken had a really bad race that race and
right.
he flies back? Then all of a sudden now he's not championship. You had one good race and he had three good races.
Yes,
So
and then
that's the problem with double points.
yep, and especially with only a 3-race seat. So if the season's shortened up and you have that one race, that could be the deciding fact. That one race could be the whole shebang
Right,
that you can't keep up.
right. So I mean, you know, guys, we got to support these guys whether they make a bad decision or not. I know every single human being that's listening that's going to watch this has made a bad decision in their life, and you got to take it on the chin and keep getting it, and you got to make its best. And we've got to support these guys, or we are not going to have a place to race.
Mark wants to know if they're doing the Pro
Yeah,
Star race. Yeah, they're doing it the last race of the year, Mark.
yep. They're not going to do it in July like they normally do because the problem with the Pro Stars being in the middle was, we kind of it's a special race for a lot of people. It became a points implication thing. I mean, yeah, because the guys that were doing really good in the points didn't want to take a chance in messing anything up, and it still may become a factor, at the end of the year. The Pro Stars is something that they started to reward the guys who did go to all the races and did qualify and did do good, and it helped them bring kind of like an all-star game for baseball or football or whatever
Yep.
they do. Um, you know, it's a great thing. It gives them a chance to put something in there. They have a concert. It's a fun race. It was hot as but Jesus last year. I think that's the hottest I've ever been in a racetrack.
It was
And
hot.
and but it's something good, and we've got to continue on. We've got to make the best of the situation. All the keyboard warriors out there can hate all they want, or they can, I saw a lot. I saw just as many positives as I did negative. I saw most of the negatives I saw were people I didn't really know and were probably, you know, guys from up there that only live a couple hours away. This is their closest race a year. I think Stedding closed, Camp's closed, John Vergat's is closed. I don't know about Mellon and him. I'm sure it's closer than most of the races.
I think so too. Yes.
Um, you know, you're only talking about a handful of guys that live down here that it really affected. Some of the nitrous guys that really affected.
We didn't get that ice cream for $2.
It used to be $1.
I know. It went up. Inflation.
Inflation. I mean, I guess Trump put a tariff on milk or something.
Tariff ice cream, man. We got.
All right.
See, look, you're even number 1 in Pro Stars. I just had a little thing up here. You're number 1 in Pro Stars. But don't.
It's just I'm not looking at the private chat. I'm looking at the pro. Harris is number 1 Pro Star. Jeff for Mellon. Okay, well, I had, but if you're a champion, you're gonna be because I had like a strong end of the year.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do the same thing I do every year. I'm not gonna really pay attention to the points. I'm gonna try to win races because in my mind, if I win races, then I make my sponsors happy, like CJW, Southern Diamond. These guys, I make them happy, and they get all the airtime they can, and then they in turn spend money on me, and then I can go racing. So
yep, and you can spend a little bit more money then.
Right, just like you and Gene.
Just like me and Gene.
Yep.
Gene has his sets. We have other light batteries and all that. Drive, and of course we got G-Force, but Gene likes to do his own deal. He likes to be in charge. So.
Yep. So.
How Gene races.
So. All right, let's move it on. Decisions made, no racing. I've been busier than I was if I wasn't racing. I went testing at Rockingham yesterday with a nitrous car. I went to a secret place today that a lot of people are going to find out later on, and going to see maybe something else coming out in the flat hood world.
See,
I can't.
He ain't never at the shop. This dude is never at the shop working automotively. He's always at a racetrack somewhere racing something.
I pay them guys. They can work there. If not, if I got to be there, I don't need them. So that's going to be a conversation I have tomorrow because I got a bad phone call right before I got on here about my best friend couldn't get his oil changed today because they were too busy.
So
they're going to get it tomorrow.
Somebody's getting ass chewing over at $39.95.
60.55 inflation. things have
Oh,
gone up.
inflation. That's like the ice
Yeah,
cream and went up.
yeah.
I got it. So what do we got next? What do we got next after the rain? We know the rain's out. Everybody's either mad or they're happy. There's no in between. You're one or the other. So
Yep. So now we've got a big announcement. IHRA puts out a purse, an unbelievable purse, a purse that looks like it came down from the magic fairy land of purses and floated down and made its way on my Facebook page. And I'm reading off these purses and I'm thinking, God bless America. What in the world? Hey, I'm grateful. 50 grand in Pro Mod, 20 grand for Pro Nitrous. They got $5,000 for a snowmobile. Hell, I'm gonna buy a snowmobile.
You're gonna run all the classes.
Whatever. I mean, these guys are really putting forth a lot of effort. They're throwing a lot of money around, but they've left off one major point.
I agree. Rules.
What are the rules?
Who's gonna? It gained a lot of traction. A lot of people was commenting and all that, but nothing has came out since that point.
I want to like these guys. I want to back them up. It's another racing series that some guys that can't race with PDRA, or maybe I can fill in, kind of like NMCA did there for a while. There's a place for the IHRA, but Jesus Christ, they're going about it backwards, man. I mean, they're releasing tracks that they haven't bought yet to say they're going to buy, and then now they're releasing all these purses, these races, and guess what, guys? We race under rules. Rules mean everything to us. I mean, you can pay 50 grand, but if there's no rules, I'm not coming.
Yep, and I think that's the key. I mean, you seen Frankie Taylor was on there. Of course, they want to run with no rules. That's their setup. And
Scruggs. I can't beat Scruggs. You can't beat Scruggs.
No, we're not set up in that trim, super lightweight cars and all that like they do, and they're impressive. But what's the rules so I guess the people can plan where you're going?
Right. And then I see all these classes they got in the purses is exactly where it needs to be. But we've got a spreadsheet of 10 classes and all these payouts, and the entry fees, and everything's right in line where it needs to be. But here's the problem, man. You got classes in there that you're probably not going to get that many cars in. You got classes you're going to get a lot of cars in, but you put the cart before the horse again. You released all this stuff, and then you never released any rules. You didn't release, where are we going to do these things at? What time of year? I mean, are they getting ready for next year? Are they planning? I saw they were going to have a big race at Killcare. It's going to be a big money deal.
Yep.
You got to be careful. We cannot turn into big money bracket racing because that money killed it.
Yep. And here's the other thing. They, like you said, they had so many classes. Are they going to start running on Tuesday, Wednesday, like the NHRA does at Indy, or what's going to be the schedule?
Right. I mean, they got a class for everything other than your golf cart.
That's what I said. I don't know how in the hell they get it done in a weekend.
And I get it. They're trying to go back to that old IHRA way, but guys, that play has been dead for so long. And sure, can we bring it back? Yes, but whoever's in charge of it now ain't making the right calls. First race is National Trail July 9th as well. Okay, so hey, we got a race. We show up on July 9th. We're a month and a half away, right? Do I have to?
Can I put a small pulley? Can I put the big pulley on? What I got to put on it?
Do I have to run DOT and headlights like we used to have to run? I mean, what's the deal here? I mean, these guys got good ideas. They're just somebody is going about it wrong. And they need to be reeled back in. We need to have some sort of direction path where we're going. Obviously these guys are wealthy, or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Somebody's spending some dough.
I'm grateful for what they're doing in our drag racing sport, but somebody is in this guy's head is making the wrong calls, and the calls that need to be made are: let's get a set of rules. Let's figure out what classes fit the cars we have. We don't need to be making up some kind of new class nitro jam bicycles. We need to have this, and then we need to get then we can get a purse. Then we can get dates. Then we can get a purse. Then we can do this. It's like whoever's in charge there is just waking up one day and said,
"Let's do this.
Hell yeah." I mean,
they throwing the money out there. I don't think they're planning is,
and they're going to learn. They're going to learn the very hard way that, unfortunately, in the pro mod world, money ain't always it.
No.
We go for more prestige than we do anything. Because if anybody thinks that we're paying if we're making money at this, they have bumped their head severely.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And the other thing is, I think they did all this. Why are they? I think they should be planning towards next year because it got so late to start.
Yeah, there's no way I would plan anything for this year. I would say, look, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to concentrate on building our program and building our schedule. And I would have the first schedule out for next year and make everybody else work around it.
Yep, that's what I'd say too. That way you have, you're way in advance, put it out there, and then they can plan towards it. But right now, like you said, I think he just wakes up and throws it out there.
Yeah, and I have personally not met the guy. My dad's met him. I know Larry Morgan's involved, but we've hired 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, and then they're fired 3 or 4 guys, and then I some of the guys I knew, some of the guys I didn't know. I mean, what the hell is going on? Hard timeout. Let's call it timeout. Let's get a meeting together. And he's almost like Donald Trump. And I the president. It's like he tweets and then he thinks about it. You know what I mean, bro? It's not that he's wrong. It's just maybe he could have directed it a little different direction.
Slip of the tongue.
Slip of the tongue. And my father is by far the worst ever at it. We call him Improper Bob for a reason. So I've had to deal with that most of my life. I mean, he's said stuff way before he ever thought about it, and we've gotten in thousands of fights over things that we shouldn't have. And then he goes home and he thinks about it. And he's like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Or I go home and I think about like, hey, maybe it was right. I can't say that he's wrong all the time, but
no, Bob isn't wrong all the time.
92%.
I got this picture. I cannot wait to it.
Oh my God!
This picture of this man one day. We're gonna. It's great. I'm telling you, it's gonna blow up.
So I just you were mentioning right before we came on about Victor. What happened to Victor? They released some YouTube thing.
Yeah, I was just looking there. It looked like he must have scuffed it or something. He was supposed to match race Cletus or something or whatever they was doing down. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but it looked like he scuffed it.
Maybe Jess can get the video while we're here sitting here talking. See if she
got it up there. Jess, what are you doing over there? She's trying to figure it. It was on Victor's page.
I don't know. YouTube. I saw it on YouTube, but yeah, I heard right before where I was at my secret place today. I was at Slick Slices today. This place called Slick Slices. They sell grilled cheese and pizza, and they had a race car there, and I was out there checking it out.
Make sure everything's all right.
Yeah. So
he did say he was going to be back. Victor did put up he'd be back by Yellow Bullet. He was hoping.
He said he blew up both turbos.
Well, when you spin that thing in 12,000 RPM,
I can't blow up two Pro Chargers. I only got one.
Only got one. Yep. That thing only makes 20,000 horsepower. It's going to blow something up.
Yeah, exactly. So, poor one lick Vic. He's going to have to make it another time. But
I don't know if he was testing. I don't know. I just seen it I was looking there on my phone. So
yeah.
You got it up. She's found it. She found a little video.
See if she can pop it up. See if she's technically advanced enough to do this.
One lick Vic.
Woo!
So, last week we were on vacation, family vacation. So, lack of content. Now we got to get back to testing. While we were gone, Troy and Tyler and the boys came out here and they put a new set of wheels and tires on and scuffed the tires. Troy did some burnout.
You guys got to drop in the comments. Let us know whether you like polished or black centers and rings better, because I love the polished.
That's been the debate in my family for years. Polished wheels versus black.
On the black ring.
Right.
No, the polished wheels.
All right, here we go.
Here he comes. This is the first time I've seen this.
Ethan. Oh.
That did not sound good.
He didn't hit the wall or anything.
Don't look like it.
No.
Unless he just scuffed it a little bit. Maybe it out.
See, that's the problem. That's good, Jess. I don't want to see the rest of that gay ass shit.
But either way,
that's the problem right there. Those Turbo Boys never blow anything up. They blew one little thing up. I've heard that magic whistle from a million screw blower.
Just death sound.
Yes.
We all do it. Your all's just pops a little bit and Pop
Magic
crack,
smoke
that's
comes
it.
out. Magic
Yep.
smoke comes out. Yeah. Yep.
Just
So,
nothing happens, but it
that's,
happens. I mean, you're gonna blow it up. They're out there running it hard, so
if you run this type of stuff that we're doing, you're gonna blow some crap up. That's just gonna happen. Believe me.
yep.
If
He
anybody
probably
ever saw me run nitrous, they know exactly.
Yep. I mean, he's out there trying to make his shit run faster, just like we all are. And
I don't blame him one bit. And I hope he gets it back together. He can tore the front end up. Both turbos failed. Yeah. I wonder if he had turbo blankets on it. I didn't see him.
Turbo shrapnel tore up the front end. So
I guess he did not have turbo blankets on it. So
maybe not. But
that is
he'll
a
get
big
her back together. Victor will get him up.
Yeah. What's Cam Clark? Cam Clark has nothing to do but watch this podcast, I guess. He needs to be out there building some motors and getting some round trackers going.
Right. That's top secret location.
So, another news. I'm sitting at this band recital, listening to my daughter play, and then the sixth graders on there. So I'm trying to silently scroll through my phone, without getting caught by my wife. Blacklisted.
Yep, brand new Jim Halsey car coming out.
68. Went with the 68 body style. That's his signature deal.
Yep, signature deal. It looked like it was all black. Blacklisted. Is that what it's called? Blacklist? Yeah, blacklisted. Blackballed, blacklisted, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Blackball.
I don't know.
Somebody sent me a picture of the turbos.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Let me see here. There was turbo blankets on it, and they are... Oh, it blew the charge pipe stuff up. The impeller went through the charge pipe. Looked like buckshot.
That's never good, but these cars do it. So, Halsey, what do you think Halsey's going to do? He going to run Midwest stuff, I guess, is what I'm hearing.
That's what I've heard. Somebody said something about he was going to leave the pusher on it and come run Pro Boost, and I said, come on.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Jimmy's been a good friend for a long time. I've raced against him a bunch. I hate the decision he made. Should have called it the pusher. Yeah. I like seeing them guys, but maybe it just didn't fall in their cards. But if he wants to go run Midwest, I don't blame him. The pay's good. He's got a really fast hot rod. He really got Mickey. Let's see, Haney's over there. There's a lot of guys over there that can run fast, but he goes over there and runs? He wins bigger. He wins more prize money. It's $20,000. I
wonder if it's I don't know if it's a brand new piece or if he picked it up somewhere or what he done.
But it kind of looks like one that Brandon Switzer had in the shop years ago that was a Lorita's car.
There you go.
And I don't think it is because I kind of heard through the grapevine that he was building a new Corvette. That was the first. Has split up since he
said the car count's up. Yeah. I mean, Jimmy's going to be fast. It doesn't matter where he races at. I mean, Pro Boost, he's still going to be fast.
I mean, I get it. I know how he is. Jimmy's always been good. Even when I ran before, when he was running back, and he took a hiatus there for a little while, and then he came back. He comes back. Definitely has changed the game. It's changed Pro Nitrous. I think some of the middle runner guys have gotten a little more. But here's the next thing. Jimmy Halsey made you guys step up to the plate and run faster. So he is why you are where you are. Because I believe in my heart, if we were stuck in the, if we only ran 370s, then we'd just be stuck in the 370s. One guy's going to make you do that.
I agree. I said Pro Boost, like when we run the Winter Series, we'd be another 150 pounds heavier, I think, if Jimmy wasn't out there running.
Right, exactly. I mean, same thing in Pro Boost. I mean, Todd was fast for years. You go after these guys. You just do what you kind of think. You got to do stuff like Victor does. You got to blow that sumbitch all to hell to try to catch these guys. I mean, obviously you don't want to do that, but it takes a lot to do that.
When Jimmy pulls in the gate, he ain't there just to qualify.
No,
that's not how Jimmy races.
Jimmy's got experience. He's got a good crew. He's got the best equipment money can buy, and he's got Brandon Switzer. So if you add all those up, you are going to fly. Y'all
Yeah.
coming back to Flying H drag strip this year? There has been talk of a $50,000 race, but I think I'm not sure if it got moved to an outlaw style because that's a new thing now. Everybody's kind of going back to that pro extreme stuff. I think Stanton and there's a bunch of guys, him and Holland back around. Flying H drag strip, great place, good surface. Just it's a haul for us, man. It is a haul.
I thought we was going to Florida with no water. That's a fact. That's a
uh,
long way up and down them mountains.
it is definitely a long ways. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it came out. I came out on a good end, getting some money coming back, and that's the only reason I made the haul out there is because the money paid back good. I knew if I went out there and made some rounds, I could get my money back. Um, but it worked out great. It was a good race. I think it was just again bad timing. I think you look at a lot of guys were wore out towards the end of the year, didn't have the stuff to do it. A lot of these teams don't want to make these hauls, and Jim Halsley and Jason Harris, Steve Kinger, and Melanie Slimmy are part of the problem. I think some of them look at it and say, well, if them guys are going, I don't have a chance. Well, you can't win it sitting on the couch. I
Yep.
flinched and went 121 red. I can do it just as good on anybody. I mean, you can't win it if you ain't in it.
You cannot win it if you ain't in it. That's a fact. And it was a great race, but I think the PDRA cars out there dominated that race, did they not?
Yeah. Yeah. So
For sure. That's a long haul, though.
Yep, that's right.
In the middle of the season.
Yep, and they were looking bad weather. It was bad weather out there too. Remember, I think it was kind of the same scenario. There was some rain forecast towards the end of the race, but it ended up raining out. But whatever. I mean, we went out there. We made the so
We made it all the way. Well, I think we got down to 8 cars. You guys went to 4 or whatever. Or, I don't know where we went.
It was me, Melanie.
E2. Yeah, I lost E2. The blower exited the building.
That's right. That's when you were having trouble popping them at the end.
We figured that out.
And then you had the tranny. You had the whole tranny debacle where you and the Liberty didn't get along for like 2 races.
We didn't. Yeah, it wasn't talking to us very well. We wasn't talking it very nice. So I figured that out too.
Yep. I've ran a Liberty. Believe me, we raced one yesterday. I had a Liberty in there, and that thing's fast, but it's finicky.
Yes, and they're good. You just gotta. It's like everything else. We just had a little issue there, and we finally figured it out. So,
do you have trouble putting it in gear, like because you're idle and stuff?
I don't have any problem at all. I've never had a problem.
You master trans brake, you flip the button.
Yep.
So when you go in for your burnout, do you go through all your gears and get to your last gear?
I do. I put it in gear and then I plug it up to. If I got a 5-speed, I go to 5th and roll through the water. If I got a 3-speed, go to 3rd and just.
So like nitrous guys, I mash transfer button and I hold a 5th gear button so I can do the burnout. I'm doing a burnout and then I'll let go. Stay in until the RPMs come down, and then when it comes down, it's automatically in neutral.
Yep.
And then we back up. Obviously, mash transfer button. You back a little lever, you back up, and then we have a first gear switch. So we mash transfer brake and we flip this first gear switch up, and then kind of go from there.
We do ours right on the fuel tech. Just push the button on the
So
fuel tech.
yesterday was the first time me actually using fuel tech with the Liberty, and it was a lot simpler than the ways I've used it before. You have the D output, which is drive, so it knows that the computer actually knows it's in first gear. When we were using the other stuff in the FI for Pro Nitrous, we kind of had to fool it. So
yep. And the big thing is you gotta, after the burnout, you gotta kick it into neutral and make sure I tap the trans brake on ours so it uncalls.
And that right there, as a racer, is like a no-no.
Yes.
So it takes you a while to get used to that.
Yep. And if you don't, then it's still in first, and you pull it back into reverse, and then it's jammed in between both, and you can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times too, and some of the other guys.
Are you going to the shakedown?
No.
Me neither.
We are not. We're not going there. We're just focusing between PDRA and Jimmy's deal, Yellow Bullet. And
I think a lot of people ask if we're going. They want to see us race, and I would love to go to shakedown. The biggest thing with a lot of, I think you're in the same boat I am. We put in a schedule for fuel, how much money we could spend going to these races, and when you start adding in a lot of races, sure, we got Norwalk canceled, so we're saved a little bit, but say Flying H puts in a race and we want to go to that, then obviously we use fuel money that we get for that to go up there. And I love Michigan. I have won a ton of races up there. The track's awesome. The people are awesome. They draw a crowd.
Yes.
It just would be hard to make 2 trips. It's 14 hours for me, something like that. So.
Yep. And to throw another race in for us, our schedule's already pretty full. Not that we couldn't, but we have other stuff too. And I got to make sure my wife's happy and the kids.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so
That's the way.
we got to go boating or whatever. And I got to look at the calendar. I don't know about you, but I sometimes week to week, I got to look at the calendar on my phone to see what's coming up next.
My wife will argue I have the most hectic life in the world, and if I sit down and think about it, yes, it is, but it doesn't feel like that to me because I'm being pulled in a lot of directions. I'm being pulled in, work direction, racing direction,
Yep.
Testing. I got to come podcast. I got to make sure the kids are happy, that kind of thing, and that's part of being a racing life. And I've lived it most of my life, all my life. My dad missed a lot of birthdays and a lot of funerals, a lot of weddings, and a lot of things like that because we went racing. And that's,
I've done the same. I did the same all along, along my trip that I did it. And, my daughter's like, you didn't come to my birthday. You didn't come here and there, but she knows that's what we do. And we miss, even like I got a race coming up and I'm going to miss 1 or 2 days of vacation and then haul ass from there and run the vacation while they're already there for a day or two. So
Big Dog has done that to me like the last 10 years. With 4th of July, the way it always falls, my family would be down there, and I would have to leave Big Dog, sleep, get up, and drive all the way down. And it just, I feel like crap for 4 or 5 days trying to recover from that. And then can't ever really relax because you're coming off that high. It's just, it is what it is. They've learned to accept it.
If you race at this level, your life is going to be hectic because most guys own their own businesses. They do that. You got to keep the family happy. You're going racing. You're trying to keep the car maintained or the truck and trailer or the motor home. So it's just a never-ending battle.
Are you testing at Virginia? I heard maybe.
Well, we might make a little secret trip here. We'll see.
Jesus Christ. I know y'all got some cheating ass shit you got going on.
You can't make it to the top if you don't run them.
Well, your little spies told me, I had to go to Michigan and get up a blower and bring it back. So I know you got something up your sleeve.
We might we might put a pro charger. Might be a pro charger on the front of it when you get up there. Take a look.
Yeah, Gene just passed out. He just fell out of his chair.
He'd sell the whole rig before you did that. Nothing against him. He just, as Gene, he's like, if it ain't got a screw on it, I ain't running it.
Hey, you know what? I'll race anything. I don't care. I love my Pro Charger setup. It's been good to me. I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can. But whatever I got to do to go fast, keep the lifestyle I got. Yeah, and I think
it doesn't matter. Pro Charger, nitrous, blower.
I don't like nitrous.
I ain't going on nitrous. You're right, but some guys love that stuff.
I don't mind helping them and doing what I got to do to help these guys. That's where my heart is. But only way I'd go back to nitrous if I was just hated money and I was allergic to it. I had to get it out of my life.
Yeah, I can't do the nitrous stuff myself. I wouldn't know where to start. I'd burn them things to the ground. I'd be putting big pills in.
Yep.
But it is what it is. Well, we gotta throw a little spotlight out here for episode 6 of the Boost and Bullshit guys, right? Feather Light Batteries came on board for this race. And they sponsor us here, and they power the whole podium with a PDRA for us. Over there, it's a brand that I trust. We run it in the Savage, and their service is second to none. Their high performance batteries are built for the brutal demand of the track. Whether you're running nitrous or blower or whatever you're running, or even bracket racing, they have batteries even for that. That's keeps you cranked up, and they're the best. They're the best as far as I'm concerned. We run them all the time. They got all kinds of products coming out for sportsman racers. They have the new battery coming out for those guys that's not all carbon and stuff. Kind of saves you a little dough, but still get the same cranking power. If you don't need to save that 1 pound that we try to save on every little piece of the car, whether I'm not eating donuts or whatnot, but that battery does. I can have an extra donut if we got that thing in there, but you can't let a weak battery kill you. You just can't. So we rely on them. You go to featherlight.com, power yourself up. get the best battery in the world as far as we're concerned.
So, speaking of batteries, have you ever had a battery issue?
I've never had a battery issue with Featherlights.
No, I'm gonna steal your battery.
I've never had a battery issue. We ran their lightweight deal when we was trying to save weight with one of the other cars and plug and play, and you carry that thing around with one finger, and that thing will start up a tank, man. It'll start up a tank.
I see a lot of the guys using them. When we did the remote blower setups, when we had the remote starters, a lot of you guys are doing onboard starters like we are now. So, and you got to think about it. I mean, it probably takes 200 or 300 horsepower to turn a screw blower, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It takes a tremendous amount. A lot of the guys on those batteries you're talking about, 24 volts, 2 batteries, but that deal they have, you just carry. I swear, you carry it with one finger right in the car. And you see some of the guys even in Pro Boost, they have a setting in the car to start it, and then after the burnout, when they back up, they open the door, reach in there, unplug it, and take that little, I guess, trying to save that pound or two out the car. Where we got that new battery they got that's super lightweight. It's really small, and it runs everything on Savage from the fuel tech to the starting it, and it just stays on board now. That way we don't have to deal with plugging and unplugging.
Yep. And I mean, I think what you got to understand is these companies that back, like Featherlight, that back PDRA, they're a contingency sponsor. They've come on board with PDRA. These guys, these companies that put in effort to make shows like this little show right here great. These are the companies that we need to support. These companies that come on and make Steve King.
For sure. And you can't, one bad battery, you spend all your money racing, getting to the racetrack, and you got a bad battery problem. You pull up there and your shit won't start, or it won't fire because you got a weak battery. You just can't have that after you spend all that money.
Yep. And I mean, we're thankful for them coming on board, boosting bullshit. These guys, helping you out, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to keep the old Savage running. Whatever we got to do. That's one of the awesome things about drag racing. It's a close-knit family. These guys make a living selling us stuff, and we make a living promoting it and doing what we love. So, well, we don't make a living, but we.
And those guys are at almost every PDRA race, and if for whatever reason you do have a problem, which I never have, they're there. They're there all the time, and you can't ask for any more than that. Those guys travel to those races just for that reason.
And that makes a big difference when it comes to a lot of things. There's a lot of companies, and I think everybody's dealt with the same thing. Even if you've had anything, if you try to call customer service on, it don't matter what it is. It makes a difference when somebody's standing there and say, "Hey, man, this is what you're doing wrong," or "Hey, man, we messed up. We make a 24 volt that weighs 5 pounds. That is pretty substantial."
Yep. It does, and it. I swear, thing when you hit the starter button, it feels like it's trying to start a tank up. I mean, it's bad to the bone.
Is 5 pounds a case of beer or a half a case?
I can eat 2 donuts a night. It's all good, but they do it. It's good stuff and lightweight to save you, so you can get down to weight. But that new Sportsman battery they got coming out for the Sportsman Guide, it saves a little bit of dough. It's not carbon. It weighs just a little bit more, but still get the same cranking amp. So,
well, that's what makes a difference. I mean, the Sportsman guys don't need to spend the money like we do because we need every ounce we can. These guys just need something that's going to service them, that's going to be a good product and get them when they're in the finals for 20 grand, or if they're in the finals of Top Sportsman or whatever. They need it to start and do the job, and so that's what makes the difference for them.
Yep, and like I say, we've never had one let us down. So.
That's
we don't even carry a spare. We don't even,
knock on wood.
They knock on wood, correct? But we haven't had to, and nothing but quality products.
Yep. So, well, we go to big old Maryland next.
Yep. Close for old Steve.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours for me. I've raced there most of my life. I found a trophy. I was at my mom and dad's house for Mother's Day, and I was looking in my dad's trophy case. Found this one way in the back. It was the first trophy I ever won drag racing. It was from a junior dragster from 1994.
Wow. That's 94. Lord,
I was 14 if you had to ask. So.
Okay, I was going to ask, but Maryland's close to me. That's like I consider that my home track. That's where over the years, me and Jeff went to test because it was close, and
Yeah.
Royce treats us like gold over there every time we've been there, and I don't see any different when we get there with the PDRA.
Nope. Maryland's Maryland. Parking's tight. The track's hot, and it has been really good to me and has been really bad to me. So I have won a lot of top dragster quick rod races there. I have never ever won a pro mod race there. I've been in the finals twice, but
I think I was #1 qualifier last year. That don't mean nothing, but I won a couple. I think we won a 30 and a 50,000 pro mod the Northeast deal over there.
That's good.
So the Supercharger Showdown, we won it back-to-back years there, but beat old Freddie Scribe both years. Poor old dog.
Scribe.
Yep.
I will say, when you're on, you're hard to beat when you're in the. If your car's running good and you're driving good, Steve King's hard to beat.
Well, if the car's running good, it makes you more confident. See, your shit runs good all the time. That's why you're usually good.
Yeah. So.
John them's getting a handle on it. We're trying some stuff. We got to try to keep up with everyone. So we're always trying something.
Well, that's good. You can go test your top secret blower you got. I've got a secret coming out. We'll talk about in the next episode. So we'll see. Episode 7 will be the week before Maryland, I'm assuming. Maybe the Monday before.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Yep, Monday. We'll go back to our regular scheduled time where we was going to do this one at Norwalk, so that's why we did Thursday. So we'll go back to our regular scheduled deal so everybody can, when they get home from work Monday, can tune in.
Yep. We'll do that. We'll make our picks, and we'll kind of see where everybody's at. We'll see how testing went for you. We'll probably have an unveiling of some new stuff coming out for me. Doesn't really kind of affect the Party Time crew, but it's going to be a big game changer in the pro mod world. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, you guys always got time in between rounds. You got time between rounds, and when y'all drinking tea, if you got some more extra stuff over there, you won't be not as much tea anymore.
Yeah, you get a Pro Charger. You don't have any problem. Pro Chargers, that's where it's at. That's the future. It's again, I want to thank everybody for joining us for Boost and Bullshit episode 6. Who would have thought these two idiots would have made it 6 episodes in?
Hard to believe.
We've had some good ones. We've had some bad ones. We've had some okay ones. Sorry everybody couldn't see us race this weekend, but just stay tuned. Yep. Pilot Racing and Party Time Racing, and stay on our social media pages. ET Edits, they keep us updated, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Get that Featherlight battery in there. That wasn't terrible.